everyone being here tonight. And, everyone had time to look at the agenda.
Yes.
Is it on? Yeah. Okay. Any questions, corrections on it? Don, we've got.
Jamie's on his way, by the way.
Do I now?
Jamie's on his way. Over here.
Yeah, okay. And Robin has got COVID, so he will not be here. Yeah, he sounded bad today, terrible. But anyway, there is nothing to add to the agenda since you've actually included this resolution, right, Don, down here? Okay, all right. Everyone had time to look at the minutes from our previous meeting?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Everybody fine with it?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Turn on consent agenda. Personnel status, we'll go with that, take a look at it. As always, there's kind of fluctuation, in and out of the jail. I think Stacy may have got one part-time person down there, I think. I don't know whether he's still working or not. He may went in and out, but there's not really a lot of changes in their personnel. Any question?
Lost one in the road department too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're looking, and actually we got a slot on that, He actually was a good worker. He's one of our best workers, and he actually had a better job offer, closer to where he lives at. So I couldn't blame him, but he was one of the best. But he's good, really good, But any questions on that, on the personnel? Okay.
Nope.
All right, number 4, board appointments, proclamations. We do have 4A, resolution R-29-22, appointment of the member of the Northwest Georgia Regional Commission. That's somebody we're still looking for, There've been several people that have inquired about it, but they don't particularly want to drive every month, and any call meeting to Rome. So that's something that I think Carrie's putting it out on the website. Maybe we've done that, I don't know, but it's a little different board than just having somebody local here. It's a kind of demanding. Although we will pay their mileage, there and back. 4B resolution R-49-22. This is a recommendation appointment of the Board Industrial Development Authority. Now, Don, that was Seth, is that right? Okay. We've Seth House.
Fifth house.
Yeah.
Expired.
Everyone fine with Seth? He's a good guy. I'm sure he'll attend every meeting, And he's already on I think one of the advisory, I think, or something. I know he attends most all the meetings anyway. So, okay, put that on the consent agenda. And then 4C is the proclamation of Purple Heart Day, August the 7th, 2022. That's something we've done, I don't know, many, many years. Everyone fine with that? Okay. All right. Move down to number 5. This is approval of SPOS and capital equipment. We have new home fire department request for new fire hoses. They're here. New home? Yes, sir. You want to come up, talk to us? How are you?
Oh, well, sir, thank you. We had the event in the early spring where we had the brush fire that got out of control. We had 2 structures involved. While trying to attempt to protect those, we had a large wildfire involved, and it ended up shifting on us and our hoses and lines that went across the ground. We're just taking the time to replace the hose that we did get destroyed. It's not repairable at that point, and requesting with the same order, we're going to add an additional amount to the second engine just to allow a little more feeder hose from a hydrant scenario in the future if necessary.
So the hoses they burn?
They burn in half.
They burn, yeah.
Wow.
Sometimes that happens though. It's something you can't.
The wind shifted where we had it laid.
That's right.
We can't control it, and you can't move it in quick nature with only 3 people. So, especially that day.
Exactly. Yeah. All right. Any questions?
So which
man.
one is it? I'm sorry. MES or?
The MES is the one that we're proposing to go with.
Okay. Just making sure.
The other 2 are pretty well extensive on pricing, especially availability. MES has been pretty good with us on equipment.
Okay.
What's the middle one?
Should be a company called Tennessee Fire and MES.
That was a single. That's for the cost of one, and they're ordering 9. Is it 9, or no, how
Correct.
many are you getting, 18?
Yeah, one bid put it out in individual sections and then put a quantity to the sections instead of bidding it in all together.
Okay.
Stuff's not cheap.
Okay.
Yeah, but it lasts as long as it doesn't
We
get,
can take care of it and
Right,
keep
right.
it out of the way of the fire, absolutely.
Yeah, yeah.
And this isn't the best and it's not the worst, it's the middle of the grade. The
Sure.
fire guys actually at MES suggested the mid-grade. They don't want to promote their Platinum Series for what we've got, it's not going to lay flat, and they had a lot of positive comments for this grade.
Okay. Everybody fine with that? Any questions?
Good.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming tonight. Yeah. Okay, let's move down to number 6. This is the ARPA expenditure. We have 6A, Town Creek Trail at Dade County Court Facility. Now, Don, you want to
Well,
comment on that?
Jameson asked for this to be placed back on the agenda, and I don't know if someone's here for
I don't see anybody.
representing them or not, so I guess we can
Table it.
postpone that till
Yep.
next month.
You with them?
well,
Jennifer Blair, is she with them?
I know there was like mention of helping with sand. Did that work out or?
Yeah, we went over and looked at it, and they approved it. Stephen, we rode over there that week, and that's gonna be fine, and so they can get to stand for nothing. It's gonna save, it'll be about a $20,000 savings for them. And I told them that when they got ready for it, we could put a tandem. I think they're gonna need about 8 loads or something anyway, but we
Sure.
could haul it for them on a rainy day or whatever,
Sure.
and that'd save them that money.
So that 20 that they're wanting on here, on this document?
I don't, it was, I
20 or
don't,
nobody?
I don't know whether that's why we needed him here tonight. That was,
Right.
Yeah.
I think this is beside that, yeah.
Okay.
So it's gonna save them quite a bit, on that, storm, of that sand, pit thing that they were making them build.
I was thinking 20 was what they were
Yeah.
last month, I mean, it's year that they were short.
It was.
It wouldn't matter how you got it, whether it's in
But
sand.
that was figuring, this happening, this sand deal over there, because they had $18,000, I think, budgeted for since they were gonna make them do the sand, relief thing there, yeah.
He's out of I know he's out of town, he may be out of the country.
So we can just table it, I mean, it's, they've got, they may not need the money anyway, I mean, it's what, they haven't started the project, and it may come in way under budget, than what they're thinking, All right, let's move down to number 7, Jamie Blevins, with Blevins Construction, and will give us our monthly update on the courthouse.
All right, so first off, we'll start talking about the elevator shaft. We got that inspection done this month. Take one of those and pass it down. We can maybe get them up there. Anyway, these are some photos from inside the shaft.
I got them right here. I'm good.
So there are a few issues that we found. The first few pages
Have
are
to hit
okay.
refresh. I'm done. Oh, you got him.
You go to page 4. The packet I gave you, and it'll probably be ongoing. I'll tell you when to stop. Anyway, there's some sheetrock that's not finished. So we've got to get in there and patch that, and there are some holes.
While they're in there, we'll need to
That's good right there.
the window, that window that's blocked out there, we need to really get in there and look at that and see if we can fix some permanent, I don't know whether curtains or something on it, because once it's sealed like it is, it's done, Or do a black background on it anyway, where you can't see white sheetrock.
So this was just the inspection of the interior of the shaft. We had that company come up and ride us up and down the elevator. You can see here, that's on, if you're inside the elevator on the left side of the frame, that sheetrock's not taped and finished. So this shaft requires a 1-hour rating, which means everything's got to be taped, mudded, and bedded. This doesn't have any mud on it. So there's several conditions like this around that upper frame that have to be fixed, and you can go into to the next pictures. There's just another photo down lower there. And then we found a couple of holes. Like, see, we got to get all, so you can see where you can see the exposed wood there. That's what we were concerned about. hopefully we can get in there and just take that track loose, that clip that's holding that rail, get the sheetrock behind it, get it mudded and taped, and put that clip back. But now that we know what's in there, we can start the process of figuring out what the cost is going to be to get that repaired. You can go on. It's just more pictures around the upper frame. There we go. So here's one example, and there's another example of where the hydraulic lines comes into the piston down at the bottom, but these are all supposed to be fire caulked in a 1 hour radiant assembly, and they're not. So we'll have to get in there and fire caulk those from both sides. And we'll get the inspection done on the perimeter, the outside of the shaft as well, to make sure it's okay. So any of that kind of stuff has to be fire caulked.
Is the PVC pipe itself not gonna have to be replaced? Cause I know we had to use, I know we had to use fireproof.
So a guy from our office did that, and I need to figure out what that PVC pipe is. I'm not sure why there would be a PVC pipe going in there. So it's probably something we just need to run down and take out completely. So, but this is where that's the piston that drives the elevator up and down, and just that pipe coming through there, we're gonna have to fix that. So that's a condition we'll probably try to patch and mud it a little closer and then fire caulk. It's a pretty big hole to just stuff fire caulk in.
Is that's hydraulics coming into the cylinder there?
Yep.
What is that, a steel line coming in, or what is that?
It looks like copper.
It is copper?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. So my expectation would be, we'll have to get these guys back up here for a couple days. We were out here probably 2 hours. It's $250, so it's not egregiously expensive to have these guys up here to help us get in the shaft. But we are going to have some costs there, and then getting this shaft repaired. Now, this is all budgeted. We've got dollars in our budget to cover this stuff, but we haven't formally priced this out yet, so that'll be the next steps here.
And when you say to get those guys out, you're talking about the elevator coming
Yeah.
and stuff. Cause the state law, you gotta have the elevator
can't
people
have
there to
any-
get on top of an elevator.
Right, we don't even have access into the shaft without those guys on site. And it's just a safety issue. I mean, you could see if any random person could open that shaft up, you could have a lot of potential for accidents there, So another thing we've been running down are dumpster costs. So we're trying to stay with our local guys. There's 2 local dumpster companies. One of them's not really engaging for a commercial job. They're more set up to drop a dumpster off at your house, charge you a flat rate, and then move on. When we've talked to them, their cost just is prohibitive when you look at something sitting here for 3 or 4 months, right? So
Yeah, but we've got a dumpster though, we've got 2 in the county,
No,
for our
perfect.
government projects, we can use.
even better.
We've got, yeah,
I was going to talk about waiving the dumpster dump fee, since there's no sense in paying yourselves, but if you've got a dumpster,
that's a
perfect.
government
Park it over here, we'll take it.
dumpster government job. I mean, that shouldn't be a problem, yeah. In fact, the tear out they had a their dumpster there for a while anyway, back into the slot there. Just give Billy about, maybe a couple of days' notice, we can get it in there.
So we're still waiting on a delivery date from Train for those mechanical units. All that stuff's been approved, the order's in, we just don't have a date yet. And then Reeves and Sutton are both slammed right now. I mean, you can imagine with the heat and stuff we've been having, what their daily schedule looks like. So we're trying to give them some time to work their crews out so we can get them down here to get started. Right now, we're targeting 8/22 for a start date. Billy thinks that if we target 8/22, that'll give him a couple of weeks to kind of get all his tickets worked up and get the crew freed up to get in there and get started with a demo.
Yeah, that'd be good, yeah.
Yeah. Other than that wraps up where we're at. Any questions?
Any questions? Good report, yeah.
Get to moving.
Yeah, that's
Sounds great.
It's the beginning, yeah. Thank you,
Thanks, guys.
appreciate it.
See you next month.
Thank you, Jim.
All right. All right, let's move down to number 8. This is a resolution R-50-22. This is a support resolution for the new CHI hospital over on 2A. And just a simple thing, just stating that we do support the hospital and that we don't really, we're urging the Park Ridge to drop their what do you call it, Don? It was a certificate of,
The certificate of need.
Yeah.
you know, they say that we do not need it, you know, in Northwest Georgia, so. Y'all got any comments on that or want to change the wording or anything? It's, pretty simple, cut and
If you
dry.
go to any ERs in Chattanooga, you know we do need another hospital in that area.
Yeah, well, it benefit us a lot, you know, because of our indigent,
3 days.
our prisoners, you know, we, you know, having, you know, so. And, there's a lot of insurance now, several that in Georgia, they expect you to, you need to go to a Georgia, if you got that particular insurance, you go to a Georgia hospital. If not, it costs you more, so. And it's gonna be a nice, when it is built, it's gonna be a nice facility. I mean, it'll be you know, I mean,
Well, we just come through the pandemic, and how many times did we hear on the news every night? Or know somebody that was sitting in a hallway in a hospital
I know,
because there were not enough rooms and then for this to come up, so.
yeah,
And it's still happening, it's still there.
yeah. Everybody's fine with that?
Yes.
Okay, all right. All right, and, this, number 9, this is just something we need to clarify. This is, resolution R 27-22, to restate approval of the 2022 millage rate, for the unincorporated and incorporated rates in Dade County. And I'll just read the section here that Dawn has asked me to read. What did they do with it, Dawn?
Tab 9.
You have it in me here. It says, therefore be it resolved that, by the Board of Commissioners that the 2022 millage rate be established in an unincorporated area at a rate of 8.0000 mills and inside the incorporated area rate at a rate of 10.5535 mills. To levy significant net taxes estimated at $4,434,772 in revenues to fund the maintenance and operation of Dade County. And that's just to clarify that. What was the reason for that now, did you say? I didn't understand what.
There was some wording or something that happened. The resolution was correct, but it was just the way it was stated at the meeting. We just wanted to clarify
Okay.
that.
Okay, okay, that's all. Do y'all have, you have anything around the table you want to go to? Okay. All right, we'll go ahead and we'll adjourn our work session and go right into our meeting. If y'all want to go on it, or y'all want to take a minute or two break if you need to. We'll go up and move up to the podium. Let's take our mics with us. Appreciate everyone being here. As always, before we actually begin the meeting, I'm going to ask Brother Goff here, Robert Goff, if he would lead us in our prayer and also pledge of allegiance to the flag. So, Mr. Goff, would you do that, please? Everyone stand, please.
I'd like to request everybody to remember the folks in Kentucky, all over Kentucky, but especially in the eastern part of it. This is about 4 out of 5 years that they've been hit by floods, tornadoes, or something, and the last count I had was 35 fatalities, but they're still missing, all kind of people missing. On a little more personal note, the Georgia Baptist Disaster Relief are beginning this Saturday, sending teams up to go in what we call mud out. And I'm scheduled to go on the next Saturday on the 13th. So keep those people in mind that are up there working. It's a dangerous job, and it's something that we do just because we do it. It's not a paid job. It's volunteer, and a lot of you know how that is. But they're up there working, or will be, and feeding people and doing all that we do. But it's sad. And Mary Bailey, our former HR person in here, she's going up this weekend. She has some relatives. That's where she was born and raised, was in that part of Kentucky. And one of them, I think, completely lost his house. It just went down the river. So keep those people in your prayers. And I know there's many others, but that's the most recent thing that's hit our part of the country. Let's pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the privilege to be here tonight, Lord, to do the work of the government of this county. We thank you for those that are here tonight, those that are watching and listening, Lord, by way of technology. We just pray that, Lord, that you will continue to bless our community and our county, and Lord, especially as we think about the things I just talked about in Kentucky and all those little towns and places up there, some of them all but washed away, families that are still looking for their loved ones who are still missing. And Lord, we just pray that you would give them comfort as only you can, but let them know that we here in this country and people around the world are praying with them and feeling with them. And Lord, give them the things they need to sustain them through this time of grief. And Father, we just pray again that you would continue to bless our community. Lord, we pray you bless our nation, bless the leadership of our nation. And Lord, we just pray that you would see fit, Lord, to find a way to use people, and Lord, that we'll be willing to say yes and follow you, for we ask it in the name of our Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Salute.
Yeah, I don't want to sit down.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Robert. This is a regular scheduled meeting of the Dade County Board of Commissioners, which takes place at the same time on the first Thursday of every month. Proper notice this meeting was given to our legal order of Dade County and has been posted in our hallway of our administrative buildings. This time I do need a roll call. Mr. Lowry. Here. Mr. Hartline. Present. Mr. Goff.
Here.
Ms. Bradford.
Here.
And Chair is present. Okay, we got anybody tonight that wants to come up and talk to us? Come up and give you 5 minutes or so there if you want to talk to us about anything. Okay, we got one person here.
All right, can you all hear me all right?
Yes.
My name is Susan Talbot, and I'll be happy to provide sources and calculations for the following remarks, but I do have time constraints, so just let me know if you need those. I do need to address the following quote, and this was by County Executive Rumley, and it was in context to a land purchase and construction of an election office. The quote goes, so this summer is going to be a priority, from now into winter time, to get land cleared, cleaned, and a pad built, and actually try to get the building up, so it's going to happen as soon as possible, end quote. We in that statement was presented as a consensus of the entire commission, but to date, not all 5 commissioners' voices have been heard on this subject. No formal votes have been made on a land purchase or a new construction, nothing like that. Unless and until these 2 things occur, the above quote of "it's going to happen" is misleading and somewhat premature. in the future, I'd like to request that we be mindful that until the appropriate processes have occurred, one commissioner should not presume to present the position of other commissioners, especially on a public media platform. A better way to communicate the above message would have been to preface it, "I hope to." And thank you for your consideration on that. Moving forward, I did feel compelled to do a deeper dive on this subject after listening to citizen participation at a commission meeting. I spoke with some commissioners on this topic, and the following is based on some of the responses I received to questions. I'd like to thank those of you that listened, answered questions, and participated in healthy dialogue. There is no deadline dictating that a new election office construction must happen immediately. And this is a good thing because it gives each commissioner time to contemplate and apply their personal objectivity when considering the issue. I did ask how much square footage has it been determined that a new election office would require, but not one commissioner that I spoke to at the time was able to identify that data point. However, the information in public meeting was that the new construction would be approximately 24 by 60 or 2,400 square feet, and the space would also accommodate 3 additional office spaces. Now, initially, the building commonly referred to as the depot was feasible to accommodate an election office in terms of square footage, but after a fire that was not a total loss, the narrative did change to it's not feasible in context to square footage, except the fire did not change the footprint of the depot building. If the commission should decide to go forward with this construction, the net effect of square footage for an election office would not necessarily be an appreciable gain for square footage to be added on to an election office. And those are based on rough estimates that I made. Cost. Aside from approximate purchase price for the land of $100,000, no cost estimates have been provided or even a general idea of cost. I'd like to see the commissioners exercise a little more due diligence prior to calling a vote on this subject. Cost is a major factor in determining if we can even do it. I have done a very conservative cost estimation on this project, and although I feel that my estimation is low, I arrived at approximately $500,000. When each of you weigh your vote when and if it comes to the table, I ask that you consider the following. Looking at the current economic situation, we have the highest rate of inflation in over 50 years. Gas prices have been running almost $4 per gallon, and diesel was even higher. It's come down a little bit. Building supply costs are increasing, and that market hasn't flattened out. There are supply chain issues countrywide. Home assessments in Dade are increasing. The commission voted for taxpayers to accept the growth in Dade, and that is resulting in higher property taxes for many. The Board of Education did the same on school taxes. Grocery costs are increasing, energy costs are increasing, and the commission has also voted to place an additional sales tax on the ballot coming up in November. That would be T-SPLOST. This country is in a recession, or you could say we're steaming towards a recession. The average median income in Dade County is approximately $45,000. Citizens' dollars are already stretched. I would like to encourage the commission to apply more creative solution skills to consider utilization of assets that we currently have, to search for resources with the city and work together to provide for something that we need. Yes, a new construction might be more convenient and it might be more desirable, but like the citizens who are bearing the brunt of the economic situation, they are working with what they have to make ends meet. I would like to encourage this commission to also consider working with what we have, because that's what we do when times are hard. And right now, times are hard. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to comment, Mr. Lowry? I know that's the reason we've not brought this up, in the last meeting or two, because we have been working with the mayor, and he's talked to the city, his commissioners about it, and if you want to comment Is, you're here. If you want to comment on it, Alex, you can on this particular subject.
It's been a big topic that we do it and trying to be the best stewards of our taxpayers. We are also the taxpayers as well, but using resources that we currently have. We had investors come to us to why we should buy the property and take it off our city tax records of that. So me and you got together and I've talked to each of the commissioners about it. We've also talked to our commissioners in the city. We went in to talk about property because we do own a nice piece of property beside the depot. We're hinging on structurally engineered to that building, that we've talked to. We feel we probably need to get somebody to look at that to see, but over the last 3 years, things invested as money was available. But also in the time, the Secretary of State changed standards to the elections of the county since the depot fire as well, which also changed a few things. I think y'all have
Which
also
increased the size of it.
increased the size and things, and what we were proposing is make the Trenton Civic Center the Trenton precinct for that and have the early voting continue at either one of the buildings that we decide to do. And when the Secretary of State sets those, and again, the city and county coming together for the elections, because we asked not to do it, or we got our clerks out of that because it's so hard. Same thing, you can't have an election at City Hall when people's coming in every day there as well. That was one of the first things that Cindy Robertson asked me to leave, so we negotiate a price with y'all, around $8,000 to $10,000 an election for the city when we do the odd years as well. So we brought that up. You asked me we talked to the city commission and we talked about it and we agreed that big piece of partial that's in front of using both county and city property, of doing something to look facing the south to kind of mimic the Civic Center, have additional parking. We own that whole block there. So
It's something we're working on.
Fluid
We need
stuff
to all get together one at a time, meet with Terry and the mayor, which Terry's,
but I mean, it's just,
and
it's just
look
an
and, and that's what we're doing. That's what we're working on.
And then I think, y'all even talked about the north end. We're just doing an offer to see if it needed. We had some investors come and say, don't let them buy the property to take away from revenue of taxes to the city. That's the thing I brought to y'all.
Yeah. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
Like I said, we're open to talk if it gets that far.
Lamar, you want to comment? I know you spent some time yourself doing some research too on
Done
this
a lot of
particular subject.
research. This building is roughly on the inside 1,444 square feet. And they've called us up here during elections when they're doing their quality testing and their accuracy. And it's just not, you don't have enough room to walk in between them. And like Alex said, the governor's changed the number of voting machines required,
Secretary of State.
or Secretary of State, the number of voting machines per person, or for someone, is it 200, every 250?
I think there's 87.
So that's expanding. And with that, our bill, it always expands because those machines are furnished by the state, but once their warranty runs out, the upkeep is ours. The maintenance and the upkeep of them. If you'll go back in this back hall, you'll see battery backups lined up in the hallway. If you go back in the back office, you'll see all the kind of equipment just piled up in the hallway. Because we don't have nowhere to put it. LaWanda would welcome you back there to talk to her. She did me, and she said anybody that'd be willing to come back there and talk to her, she'd love to show them what she's dealing with. We've been looking at them. I went since I'm involved with HPC, Ted came to the meeting because I told him that we were wanting to, I had several people question me why we couldn't use the old courthouse. Well, there's numerous situations where the courthouse is about the same size as this building. Plus, you got steps or you got a small elevator, which would take forever to move those voting machines up and down and send them out to precincts. So that's really not feasible. I spent Sunday at the North Dade School, a couple hours Sunday, measuring and looking at it, the upper and the lower part. The lower part's what we're talking about, and Ted's aware that I've done that. And just the lunchroom itself is 1,800 something square feet. And that's only about a little over, maybe a third of the building, because it's just on one side of one hallway, and then there's another classroom that attains to it. But I've talked to LaWanna, and she's supposed to be LaWanna Vaughn. She's our election board supervisor, so she's supposed to be getting us some, because we got one wording, one document from the Secretary of State that said a storage facility could basically be anywhere the county deems it, as long as we meet the humidity and the air conditioning and the security standards.
Security, yeah.
We could put them about anywhere. So that's another we're looking at too. So we've been talking about it. I know what Ms. Talbot is referring to. She sent me a video of it. And there's not just I'm concerned about it myself, because we've got already looking at, we're supposed to be building a building at Four Fields that we've not completed. We've got an animal shelter that we got to do something with. We got to build it, and we don't know how we're going to fund it. Building it is not the issue. Trying to find the employees, the water and the lights and the sewer, it's a lot to work out. So we got those buildings, and now we're looking at another building. So
Alex, you may want to comment on that too. I mean, because we've been working, trying to, it's been going on for a while, and you can give us kind of an update on the plans on that. Where we stand at on that?
All this is just fluid motion to work together with intergovernmental agreements to use the current taxpayers' property, the North Dade, what we have there. It come up when some investors did. And the same thing, I remember when the county was to put it down at the Robert Ryan Road for the possible shelter at the time above where the forestry is now. How many years ago was that?
About 2000 no, because I was off the commission in 2000.
The city does have animal control. We take care of animals that are coming to the city. It's not a shelter that's open to the public. And we work with Ann Brown on certain puppies, and we've had issues with large adult puppies. There's been a lot online right now going on. We have talked to several people, but this is another thing that's been in motion for a little while, that we have $60,000 set in the prior splosh, and we have other money set in the current splosh as it's coming in. We've got to do something in the city. We're at the old section of the sewer plant. We still use a big section of that sewer plant for our well water, because as much water as we use to put in with the sanitary sewer, we use that versus public water. And so we have to use that facility. I mean, it's got chain link it needs done. It's not the best environment, but we don't take in strays. We're not asking people to bring them. It's only the animals that we pick up when we have issues, and when the sheriff's office goes out for vicious animal calls in the unincorporated county. They call in here to dispatch. We dispatch Ronnie or Keith, whoever's on call that night. They go out there, and if they determine, I think there's one dog in the county that's there and 2 adult dogs, and we're trying to work with some Georgia services. But anybody just can't come get these animals. They have to be a Georgia certified person that's affiliated with the agency that's certified in Georgia, like Ann is and the groups that she works with. It's a whole new environment. But as Lamar said, we have talked about this. We went and looked at a facility. We found a great facility it's led by a group, and we got a call to the architect. He's working on some preliminary plans, but we've shut it down because it was really big. It's a simple building. It's a simple metal building. It's got epoxy door frames, block, epoxy, even the grid and ceiling tile and light fixtures are made to be wet, drains. It's a really neat building, and it's done through shelter, and it's approved by a shelter group as well.
So they were actually going to work with us, so they actually got
They're going to try to give us a
Yeah.
preliminary set, and it's a very place where somebody, if they do bring in, I mean, again, we've got to decide as an intergovernmental agreement that we'll pay our part, and if the county wants to do the same thing. We talked about the transfer station property at the end. We got sewer, water, and power back there now. Again, we were planning on having talks today to get some things moving, but we had the school safety drills.
Yeah.
Terry's got some, Commissioner Powell, that's in his department, so both of those facilities, we just want to start that fluid talk and in some good work sessions.
Yeah, and
Decide what's best for
along with the
counties.
building, it's much more than it's directors, it's
Well,
people
that's what,
working there.
theirs was too big.
Insurance.
It's adding, you're going to have a full-time director. You're going to have a vet tech or something, or that's there helping. We got to have hopefully something that we can do like we do at the transfer station that's dedicated folks from possibly the jail for the cleaning up, keeping, when the volunteers come and the groups want to come help, we got to have guidelines and procedures and signed waivers, insurance.
Mm-hmm.
That's where the money is. I mean, we're fixing to start our budget. And what we currently pay in animal control is one person, insurance, vehicle, all the supplies we need. All the utilities is covered under the sewer department from our utility company, so that's the thing we don't have. So we've got a copy of Walker County's, kind of what they're paying, even if we had seasonal help. But, if you start intaking animals like that, you just can't throw them into the population. They have to go into an area that they're checked, seen. Do they have a tag on them? Do they have a microchip? And then they're held in a quarantine area because you don't want to infect the whole population. And the same thing, they even had, when they had to euthanate, they had a big deep freezer they kept them in. I mean, it had so many steps. They even had a barn out back with pigs and larger animals.
They took large animals too.
So, I mean, it can get as big as small, but we want to start it small, but we want it to be able, the way he's got it designed, it can be expanded onto if it did grow. If you plan for a 20 or 25-year building. But again, it's a simple Butler building with the plumbing. I think it had, instead of a grease trap, it had a hair trap.
Yeah.
But we were at our regional commission, Northwest Georgia, so we took the rest of the day, rode on down and looked at this and spent some time. And, they had a lot of great ideas, even businesses that were sponsored and built the cage systems they went with. She gave us everything. She gave us everything but the kitchen sink to work with.
Yeah.
The architect has moved to a different firm, and we've been back and forth, but, if we try to redesign something new, it's going to cost us even more money. But if we can take something out, like I think it had 180 stalls, and we're taking half of that out, that it could be added into later. And again, it's pretty simple. But, you already got the mechanical, electrical, and plumbing and all that done. It's just got to be restamped and certified to the size. Would cost us a lot less than trying to start from scratch. But again, we got to get that to each commissioner, both sides, look at it, make a decision, work a budget. Y'all done got your budget till July of next year, so it may be after that. But we got to start somewhere if we want to continue to go. So, we've got to do something no matter what, and that's what we're worried about. Before we spend any other money for some minor maintenance stuff, major, we need to get it better. And there's people willing to help, and that's the thing. And we're just playing the record again 10 years later than what we did when we talked about down at Robert Ryan with that last group. I remember we walked down there and looked at it. I remember that day one day. So,
But that'd be ideal down there, where we're talking, because we'd actually eventually be able to take larger animals. Like if we had the horses out there that was starving at that time or whatever,
I think we had to rent.
It'd be a
farmer helped out. And when you go back off behind the transfer station, where it goes off, then it takes a big dive down there. And our major Woolbright pumps 90% of our city sewer is right there at the bottom. The rest of that property is the county's. It goes all the way back to the creek, and it's in floodplain. But it could have tracks or walking areas or cleaned out for stuff or animals possibly, but you can't build or nothing in it. But just an idea we had. We were looking at what we got, where we can. It's in an industrial area where there's not a lot of residents, because I think we were concerned. I think in my mind, I remember people leaving animals down there and it getting into the park where the kids are at the county sports complex was a thought that people were worried about. So.
And we had neighbors. There was neighbors.
Yeah, there's neighbors
close.
to the south side of it as well. Yeah.
And there'll be some barking included with that.
You could take the road that's on the side where the recycle is, make that a two-way all the way back. And it's just a thought.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just something that we were talking and trying to decide. But you're exactly right. We got to figure out what it costs, look at our size, look at what the amount of pay. But it's a brand new, and Philip done this the worst of the best, is that it's like 49 businesses. We got to add that 50th. And in the city, if we do a split as well, I mean, we're here to help share that is what we want to do. again, that's being the best, I think, for our taxpayers. You know, and I say this again, we treat it just like it's ours, because most of us are that taxpayer as well.
That's right. We pay taxes too.
But it's a lot. I mean, and then we're at a hard time, as Ms. Talbot just said. You know, you're hearing this, you're reading this. It's the hardest time we need to do. Building it's easy with this tax funds.
Right.
Paying for it from now on is the thing. And then, you know, we got to try to keep our people. We got roads. We got life and property that we got to deal with too. You know, and that's the number one job that I do for y'all is life and property. So with 911 and emergency services. So that's still got to happen too. So it's a very tough decision, but we got to get the ball kicked ahead a little bit to see where we go and what we can. If we got to start out very, very small. But, you know, again, City Commission, we met on both of those topics to try to help move forward. You know, conversations, a sit-down joint work session just on them, and I go ahead and say it, you know, renegotiating our laws for this next round. I think we got a deadline on that, don't we, Mr. Clerk? That we are,
Yeah.
that we got to re-sign that.
We
So
have to negotiate that.
December.
three things that, you know, we need to sit down and talk, or at least without shining too much, to sit together in twos and work this out and individually talk. But, I mean, it's wide open. I mean,
And you know, you and I and the commissioners, I think, you know, I mean, we don't really have the support a lot of people think that you would for an animal shelter. There's most of the people in the county don't think we need it, but
Yeah.
when you sit here and you answer the phones and you see in a year's time how many calls that I get right here in this
Right,
office,
yep.
and I know y'all are the same way.
and the same thing dispatch.
And you can justify. I mean, it's something that, and it's not getting any better because we're right here on Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama. You know, we're right here on the line, and we get a lot of dogs and cats from Alabama, Tennessee. It's just amazing, you know, really, you know. So
You know, a lot of us wear double hats. The same thing in the city. You got Ronnie that's doing animal control, him and Keith, and then Parks and Rec and Civic. You know, we put that other hat on. We done it again when Stacy took on 2 departments along with my 4. But that's what we do. We're here to help each other and do the best stewardship we got to do. We don't, you know, that's, I guess, the outline out of our box thinking we got to think about. But the biggest thing's the cabbage is we're going to be hurting there. We're worried too. I'm worried because we're worried about insurance, recession. We're looking at a pay raise as well. We're starting ours. We meet Monday night, and that's one directive that I'm given to start our budgets. So we know what the mill's set or where we are. We got to look at our growth. We haven't started that yet. So.
Yeah.
But it's tough. I mean, that's the people that's called me. I got several calls on it from several people, and I spent some time with them on the phone. Problem's not building it, as like we said, it's providing it for the next. If we started, it ain't going to end. I don't think the government's closing anytime soon. So it's another business that we got to go with. So it's a tough decision in how we're going to do it. So
appreciate you.
Yes,
Appreciate you.
And there are laws, the splosh tax, when citizens vote on the splosh tax, they're voting on a block of things that they want done in their county. Volunteer fire department, buying police cars, capital improvements. Animal shelter's been on there several times. The old courthouse has been on there several times. Once we have a vote like that, we had to, the law says you can cut back on a project, but you have to adequately fund it. So we're mandated now, whether you like it or you're all for it or you're all against it. The people voted on it, so we have to do it. So, I mean, that's all I've really got to say about that. Now, back to the election board, it has ballooned a little bit into more than just the election board with an office for the IDA, which was talked about in our last IDA meeting, and that's already a said done deal in prosecutors.
The indigent attorney down there, they're actually they've been asking for years, and they've gotten so big, but that's something too, that another revenue generator there. If we were to move them out and find them a place, that building right there could be turned and that money put right back in it too, because I know the phone companies showed interest for years of buying that little building there because that's part of the block they don't own, but.
And last year, when me and Melissa, we sat in on the public defender last year,
budget.
on their budget. And they were wanting, they said they would be tickled with a couple of the offices in the old courthouse.
Yeah.
You remember that? Yeah. So-
They just need more room, they don't
Yeah,
care where it's
oh,
at, you know.
Yeah, they just need more room, and they'd be tickled to have the old courthouse.
I want to go back to the original about the election building. What I would like to propose is not a one-on-one, but us five sit down with the city's commissioners all together with Lawana in one room and hash it out. I don't like one-on-one because time you tell that story 5 times, it's changed when it gets to the other end.
I agree.
I believe we can bring all of our concerns together at one time and sit there, if we have to stay there for 2 or 3 hours, and work it out to where we can make it happen.
It would be good though that actually before all the commissioners, like the city and all, be familiar with that, where that building, whatever the size is, where they want to proportion it, you know, where they want to set it at. And you and everybody else, you know, that way when we sit down, you know, or we could do it and have a Google map or whatever layout. And that'd be Alex mentioned that too, and we could, you know, all look at that parking lot. 'Cause that's gonna be a key factor of where it's at, you know, on that, you know, how far down and all that. So, but we can schedule that one, I like in the next few weeks, really. I mean, and then get that behind us of actually, okay, is that where we're gonna build it? Okay, great. And then Luana, we can actually do the square footage, which we got kind of an idea of how big it's gonna be, you know. I mean, does it need to be a 40 by 60 or 10 by 12 or whatever, you know, and then we can position it in that meeting we're talking about, on that, drawing and see how it's gonna work out. I agree, it's a good idea. Anybody else got any comments on it?
Well, I'm sorry, I want to clear up because I'm kind of, so you're talking about on a new building, or are you talking about the depot?
No, we're talking about well, whatever, we can talk about it.
Everything be on
We
the
can talk,
table.
everything be on the table,
Well-
but it'll be down there on, well, it could be if, it could be there, it could be on that property we're talking about, possibly, but wherever. Right now, we're talking about meeting with the city because they do own that
Okay.
property, yeah.
Well, before we did that, what I would like to see would be to get an estimate or an engineer, whoever would be the best one, to look at the depot, tell us what it would cost to repair it and add on to it, and have that information in front of us.
That's a good idea, because we were gonna have to add on to it no matter what.
Exactly.
No doubt, no way.
So, and if they're willing to work and there could be, I mean, there could even be a breezeway of some sorts that's heated and aired to go into another building, that would be storage, and then their offices could be there or opposite.
Well, we still have to meet with the city, because we don't own the property, we just own what the building pretty much is.
Exactly.
So if
But we still
extended
don't, we don't
anything,
have a
yeah.
cost of what
No.
if the depot, it could be repaired, but we don't know what that cost would be.
Yeah.
We haven't got anything on that. So, whether it would be make it go away, keep it, rebuild it, whatever. And I don't know if that would be an engineer or just a contractor or.
Well, structural engineer would have to look at it first because of all the rafters, that's, you know,
Okay.
and then go from there, you know, wouldn't.
And then if we had all that information and if we could all get together, I think that would be a more clear, that would give us a quicker route.
We could actually have Jamie give us, you know, because they're working, they're really
Yeah, that would
looking
be
at that.
wonderful.
So that's good. We'll do that soon.
In that same token, though,
We can do
you can also look at, like he said, with the city, you know, you put Lawana's office in the courthouse that we're remodeling right now, put a new roof on the North Dade school that we just inherited, fix 2 rooms to store the equipment, and then have the elections in the civic center.
Well,
That's the cheapest route.
the North Dade school is not in good shape at all. Like, it's not just roof, it's windows, floors, there's walls falling down. It's gonna need electrical, it'll need, heating and air.
So does the depot not need that?
Well, the depot, from what I understood,
I mean, that's why I'm
was-
saying we should all meet in
Yeah, we just
one
need to
meeting.
talk it over.
and
There's a
talk
lot.
it all out.
There's
Yeah.
a lot of things to talk about on it, yeah.
Because when I went through the old North Dade School, the
Yeah,
lower end, the
I
small
do
end,
too, yeah.
it's got a rubber roof on it, a newer
A new road.
roof, and it's not leaking inside. I went all through it, measured the rooms, and where I went to elementary school. So Ted asked me, "Did you have any thoughts while you were standing there?" And I had a lot of them. I mean,
A lot of
from
memories.
playing ball to my first grade secondary teacher.
Yeah.
There's a lot of good thoughts.
We'll go ahead and say, we'll schedule this, you know, up and get, and we'll get everything on the table, you know, and then we'll just meet and we come out there, maybe we'll have an answer, or at least it's a beginning, so. We'll move on. Anyone else want to talk to us tonight? We've got one person?
What's up? Because you guys were actually talking and stuff. That was good. That's so fun. It's sad that I'm up here. All right, hold on a second. I've set my alarm for the 5 minutes you allow. I apologize if I have to speak fast to say what I need to. And if any citizen not speaking today can donate a minute or two, if I don't finish, I appreciate your help. I'm John Huffman, and yes, I'm that 24-year military veteran and Dade citizen this commission as a team removed their duty of representation from me. I encourage everyone to listen to the words, "I don't represent him, no I don't," that came out of the mouth of a paid, voted-in representative at the May 2019 meeting 3 years ago. Also watch as everyone in the room and on this commission that day sat there in front of our nation's flag and did not say a word, and so supported Dade's policy of representatives who can decide not to represent and desert their duty to those they don't like. That is this veteran's ongoing punishment from this commission. But my time here today is to support Jane Horton, yet another citizen this commission laughs at. Last week, she as a citizen was the most important person in the room, but somehow this commission all thought you were. Oh, you were right to tell her we need government. Yep, we need Billy and his team to fix the streets. We need Johnny and that group to take our trash. We need the library. We need them because they give us what we pay for. You know who we don't need? Commissioners. As I've asked repeatedly, what do you do for the paycheck the people pay you, especially you, Ted, who we pay a salary of over $100,000? And did you just get a pay raise? The highest salary for your position in the entire state of Georgia for our population. Instead of laughing at Jane's crazy notion that we don't need government, that was your opportunity to give her some confidence that we need you in government. Because we pay you more, we need to see you doing more. But you are getting your arse kicked by the streets guy and the trash guy in the library. They tell and show people what they do, and they are leaving you in the dust. And you even spent tax money to hire a publicity person for you, and even she is getting out and doing more. You are giving away all your power and becoming a figurehead. And if all the work is already getting done by everyone else, why do we need to pay or need any of you? I mean, $125,000 back to the pockets of the taxpayers who are themselves standing in food lines looks real sweet. You need to justify that salary just like every other employee and every other business has to do. And the same for every commissioner. I mean, we have district commissioners that have never been to neighborhoods in their district. And Dade is a tiny county. You know how I know that? Because I go to people's houses every day and they tell me they have never been visited or contacted by a commissioner ever, and these are people who have lived here all their lives. So how are you representing them if you've never talked to them? Where is your district newsletter or a district web page or a district Facebook page that you maintain where you talk with the people of your district? Where are your quarterly district meetings? Where do you hold district cookouts or get-togethers? Where are you telling people about the events going on in your district? The garage sales and the bake sales and the church events? Where is anything that has any of you getting out and leading projects with people and leading events in your district and in the county outside your buddy group, except when you're trying to get people's votes, get their money, or get on camera? So again, why do we need commissioners? And you laughed at Jane when she said you need to come down here to where the people are and hold meetings with the people. You argued that this monthly meeting now was the public meeting, but this meeting is controlled by you, with you telling citizens that they have 4 minutes left or to get to the point. And at typical public meetings, the public asks you questions and you provide answers with no need for citizens talking fast and your clock over our heads. And here at these meetings, I have asked all of you many times here on video to provide details about the reservoir back when you made the deal to get the land. You refused to answer any questions, especially about what the plan was for after the land was bought. So I asked questions, you didn't answer them. So no, these are poor examples of public meetings. And public means you are down here in the cheap seats with the public, not sitting above them. This is not the proper setup or conduct of a public meeting, especially when everyone is very aware from your body language and your tone that all you want the public to do is shut up so you can adjourn the meeting and go home. And you had better believe that when you're looking into that live video camera, it's not full on belly laughing, but every time you smirk, chuckle, eye roll, nod off, deflect questions, and otherwise dismiss citizens, the world is seeing Dade County, Georgia Commission for who you really are, live. Believe me, the audience in this room is nothing compared to the audience out there who watch how your commission treats people and how you let each other get away with it. And I'm done.
Thank you, John. I'll tell you, you know.
Hold on, don't run off.
No, you stay right there.
I want you to hear what I got to say, because you didn't listen the last time.
Come up here. No. You want people to talk to, no, come up here. To you. I'll let Mr. Hartline.
Until you say that you represent me again and restore my rights, you will not talk to me, and I don't have to listen to you.
No, you don't have to.
Bye.
Come back and see us, yeah.
All right, I'll go ahead and get it on film again for you, because you didn't remember the last time.
Yeah. I pray for you, John.
Philip Hartline was the one that said that he did not represent him, not the other four commissioners, me, because you come in here bad-mouthing me when I had just got into office. You come in here for your 5 minutes to fame so you can get on camera, pat yourself on the back because you've been to all these people's houses and you've done all this work. We probably do more for people that's unsaid than you do that you tell everybody that you do. Do you understand? What rights has been taken away from you? Have you come with us concerned about your road being messed up? Have you come to us of any of that? Have you asked?
You're not a road person. You are not a trash person.
Am I not?
No.
Have you come to us with any concerns except for what you think you need to hear, John?
Have you ever been to the road? Have you ever been out there working the streets, fixing roads?
I have.
I broke the pavement.
Many times, son.
I have too. I've been at the
24/7.
transfer station.
What has been taken away from you when I told you I do not represent you? There's 4 other people here. You can talk to them.
You are a team, and everything you do is a team. Is that right, Ted?
We do as a team. We do.
I
We
don't
both
quite- I
as a
don't
team, but
quite
that statement was mine and mine only, not theirs.
Like Susie was saying, it's exactly the same thing. One person says it, you all say it.
I don't think so.
No.
I'm
You don't
pretty.
have- Ted said yourself, we don't have individuals up here. We are a team. It's
We
on
wa-
camera, it's on video.
We work as a team, and I'll say it again.
That's what he
Yeah,
said.
we are board of commissioners. That's right.
You need to learn the concept
of team. Yeah.
And Lamar sat there and watched it happen, and 3 other people.
He's supposed to control me and what I say? That's what you're saying. You're saying he's got the power to make me shut my mouth. No, it don't happen.
Called Robert's Rules of Order,
Okay.
which is
You have done said it, John.
when you made a motion.
And when I say something, I stand behind it, just like you said 4 years ago.
A motion that I do not represent him, and Lamar sat there and approved it, and 3 others had no dissension
They approved it?
whatsoever. Guess
We
what?
took a vote on
You
that?
made it a Dade policy.
No.
No, that's not what we done.
Yes, you did.
That's just a lie.
Well,
Just-
guess what? You weren't the victim of it, are you? You weren't the one who had your rights taken away. So,
Well,
yeah,
right, there
if you
again,
wanna
what
tell
right
me
has been
that-
taken away from you,
If you wanna
John?
tell me I'm wrong, I'm the bad person here, yeah, that's fine.
Have I said you're a bad person?
Taken away. How are your? I don't understand.
I don't understand that
And then
either.
you're saying
Nobody can
too,
understand it, John, what you're
You're-
talking about.
Well, let me play the
And then
video
you're
here.
talking about
When I
Mr.
hear
Morris.
someone said, I don't represent.
I don't, and I still don't,
saying that.
and I never will. There's 16,000 people in this county that I represent, not you.
Okay, and
You
so
understand?
that goes against what you said when you were running for office, where you said, I represent
I take care of the
everybody.
county as a whole,
I'm not saying
not
that.
John Huffman.
Guess what? So what you're saying to
You getting the show you want now because you got me
what you're
pissed
saying
off.
right there in front of the flag is, guess what? I serve everybody except for one person. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what he's saying.
Ask him.
Still not said
That is
that.
not
Ask
what he's
him.
saying.
No.
I do not, back to your call, I don't have to tell you everything. We
Philip?
don't have to tell you when we go to the bathroom. We
Philip,
don't have to tell
Do
you all
you
of that.
represent me?
I represent the county
I'm
as
not
a
asking about
whole.
the county. Do you represent
I don't
me?
represent you, John.
Does anybody not understand that what he's saying is, I do not
You
represent
got 4 other
Understand
people
what
you can
you're
talk to.
saying? Do you
I didn't take
understand
the
what
power
you're
from them.
saying?
It don't take the 3 of us to make a vote.
I mean, you come
This is
in
a
here.
representative.
This will be great for your
turning
show
off
tonight
his
so you can
duty
get
to
some more
people.
pats on your back, John.
And you're okay with that?
Sick of it.
No, what I'm not okay with is that I've never really met you, ever.
Melissa, half this stuff isn't about you. You're
No,
just
he's hung
coming.
up on something that happened 4 years ago.
I'm not hung up. I'm hung up because it happened.
Listen.
And you, John,
Listen to
when I
me.
say something, I mean it. I said it 4
You
years
watch
ago.
Ted's face right now? Ted is eating
I don't
all
care
this
about
up.
Ted right now. This is me and you.
No, yeah, but it's his commission.
No, he's a commissioner elected just like me.
Do you
Yeah,
hear
he's
what
the
you're
part-time
saying?
commissioner, Ted. You are making $100,000 and he's making $6,000.
You know who sets
He's
that?
an assistant.
The state of Georgia
It's
sets my
your
salary.
commission and you take responsibility for it.
And I
So
do.
if your commissioners are turning off their duty to people,
No, they're
you
not.
need to say
No, they're
something
not.
about it.
No, they're not.
Or else you approve it
That's
by
your
not saying
opinion.
anything about it.
That is your opinion.
So, and you,
In my opinion, I'm the one you did it to.
No.
so
I
what
did it.
rights are being
Not him.
taken from you?
Get that part straight, John.
What
You
rights
jump
are
on
being
Lamar
taken
every
from
time you show the video.
That's fine.
You was not man enough to say my name right there, but you
I
can
mean,
put the.
I'll say your name left and right. I have no
But you
problem
put the
with it.
video out all the time because you sit behind your keyboard and do this right here.
Yeah, that's what I do is sit behind my keyboard.
Exactly what you
Yeah,
do.
I remember that argument too when you guys were saying, oh, all people need to do is find better things than to sit around on computers all day and we don't have time to post. And then what'd you do? You hired Carrie
Because of
to post for you, and then you all of a sudden became the Facebook commission. Whose idea was that? Oh yeah, John, that was yours.
John.
Yeah, you better believe it was
I want to
mine.
say this, please.
The whole time you laughed at it.
4 or 5 years ago, you came in here and you brought up 52,000 times that there's 16, 17,000 people in the county.
Yeah.
Mr. Hartline is saying you get the same representation as they do, but now you're saying it's all about you, that you don't get it.
Exactly.
Yes,
We are
he said that.
representing the whole 17,000,
Did you not
16.4,
listen
and
to the
you
words he
are
said?
one of them, John.
Did you not? Yes, and he said, I am the one that he doesn't represent.
me. Yes, me.
Yep.
I don't.
We all
Because you're
represent.
about you, John. You're not about this county.
now
You're
you're-
not better in the county for people.
So now you're individuals. Is that how it works, Ted?
You are, yes. And yes, I am up here. I have my own mind and will.
So if
You're mixed
she
up,
wants to, if Melissa wants to turn the reservoir land into a walking track, that's the direction you're going to go as individuals.
Nope. We
As
gotta
a
vote on
group,
this.
we'll vote on it as a group.
We just
Now
voted.
you're a team now.
We just voted 2 to 3 to take over that property, John. We didn't all agree.
How's it going?
Listen to me, John. There was a vote taken about that property. There was 2 that said no and 3 that said yes. It could have as easily went the other way. No, we don't rubber stamp each other.
That is the point of a
And we're not
group.
going to rubber stamp each other. You made your point. Mr. Chairman, I ask that you please.
Okay, let's move on.
Thank you.
Yep. Mr. John Huffman, people. Thank you, John. Come back.
Still unrepresented.
Okay.
And there's that laugh.
I know it. I'm a happy person. I'm happy every day when I get up. I get up in a good mood and I try to do something good every day. And when I go home, I'm that way. I'm not going to let you pull me down, son. I'll tell you that right now. There ain't no way.
Well, quit calling me son.
I will. Okay. See you, John.
Call him boy.
All right, let's move on. That was interesting. All right. I apologize for that lengthy, but that needed to happen tonight. I don't, y'all agree? We needed.
I agree.
If people would just see the emails we get, this is not just the,
Well,
And I
no,
know
what
the
I,
son's
what I
gonna
have to
say,
say
but-
about that is if you feel the people of the county don't feel that they want a commissioner, then they have to go to the state and they have to go to federal and get it voted in. Nobody's stopping you, you know? But the people vote on these people up here to make the best decisions that they can for the people of Dade County, and you talk to the people that you need to talk to make those decisions, and it's not an easy job. And people that come in, and if he wants to stick up for Miss Horton, he can, but she came in and directed it at me, which I don't think is very appropriate. And how can you want to help those people that speak to you that way? And that's all I have to say.
Let's move on. I know, this is not a prestigious job, and you, all of y'all know that. I mean, you know, and I give everything I can to this county 24/7. I don't set my pay, and whoever gets this job after me, it's set by the state of Georgia, you know. So you know, anybody's got any questions about what I do, I'm wide open. I mean, I'll just tell you.
I'd like to say just one other thing, and I'll
Go ahead,
I'll get
go
off
ahead,
of it, and I'll make my. We do vote different sometimes, but we are part of a group. When the vote was 3-2, the decision of the board is what you go by then. You don't keep saying, jumping on my fellow commissioners because they voted against something I wasn't necessarily for. We have to turn around at that point and say, okay, we've got the property. Now let's see what we can do with it to be the best we can do for Dade County. I mean, most of us go to church and they have deacons and elders, they got leaders of the church. Do you think they always agree all the time? I bet not. But when they come back out, they work to where the decision was. If they care anything about their church or their organization, once that vote's made, they turn around and try to do their best to make it work, make it the best at it. And that's what I'll do with that Bredsford property. Because who knows? Maybe they were right. Maybe we were wrong. History will tell. And in the meantime, I'm not going to jump on my fellow commissioners about how they voted on something. We all had our say-so. We voted the way we felt. Now it's time to do the best we can with the property and hope it turns out good and useful for Dade County. So pray for us.
Anybody else want to talk to us tonight? Okay, we'll move on. Let's move down to our committee reports. Lamar, you want to go ahead and start with yours?
Yeah, I'll do the E91 call statistic report. Our EMS total calls were 218. Our fire department monthly totals were 309. It always kind of gets me a little bit that the fire departments always have more calls than the EMS, but they go on every call. They go on fire, rescue, and emergency calls like that for help. So our police were 1,463 for a total of 1,990 calls this month. So that's a pretty good month. It's been up into 3,000s before, over 3,000 in a month. I have some good news for my district, the north end. The broadband has actually started. We've got actual engineers on the job. They're mapping out the lines. They will actually start on Steel and Gwen Road within the next week or two, putting in cable. It'll be a long process because all the cable, all the trunks, all the cables have to be put in everywhere. But it's
happening.
It's happening. They're going around. They was at my house yesterday. They come sit with me in my living room, and they're getting right-of-ways. They're going around to people's houses. So for the people in the north end, especially in the Wildwood, Old Birmingham, I got them. Let's see here. Steel, Gwen, Belk Road, Old Birmingham, Pope Creek Road, Dogwood Lane, Sales Drive. They're going to be visiting you because on the private property, they had to get right-of-ways, get your permission to run the cable. And from what I'm hearing from everybody, they're tickled to death because we worked off hotspot for years. And with grandbabies, you always want to be the best grandparent you can be. You don't want the other grandparents having it on you. And when you don't have internet, that ain't good. That ain't good for the kids, I tell you, because they drive. And then when we had went through the COVID, we didn't have, we didn't have what we needed to do their school online because it would run the hotspot down in just a little bit, or it would be slow when the teachers were talking. So we are tickled to death about this. I appreciate Ted's help. I appreciate Trenton Telephone Company, and I appreciate being a part of this commission.
Thank you, Lamar. Mr. Hartline.
I do want to start off with apologizing for my language, but that particular individual, I've done good to sit on my hands for 4 years and to listen to his emails and watch his videos on Facebook. So from that, we've got a Adult League Softball, they're trying to get put together for the sports complex. They're gonna play 10 games, plus a end of the year season tournament. The deadline for entry is the 8/20, and the team entries is $180 per team to just to cover the insurance fees to be able to have the teams. She's got the flyer up on the screen, and we can get it on our website. You can contact Rusty Cooper or Tim Fowler. For last month, we had 19 electrical inspections. Rec football has started down there, and we've also starting soccer signups. And that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Goff?
All right, I thought after last month reporting on SPLOST being a record high, that we would see, we have yet another record high, $330,086.81, and that is the most we've ever collected in a month. So I don't know what's really happening, but I know people are shopping in Dade County, and I know it's what has been said. We're in high inflation as yet. I don't think the federal government's saying we're in recession, but we're headed that direction, as everybody says. But thankfully, fuel prices are coming down some. Somebody was on Facebook today, won't know why it's so high in Dade County. I just want to say this because we do get it. We've accused of everything else. We were accused the other night of being corrupt and everything else. Maybe we just got our knobs turned on tonight or something, but we don't have anything to do with setting fuel prices in Dade County or the city of Trenton. If we did, everybody be driving around like I did when I was a little bitty fella with mom and daddy for 27 cents a gallon. That ain't gonna happen. But somebody said it was a tax that we imposed. Look, folks, whoever watching this out there, that's the kind of things you get. That's the kind of things you listen to. But I can tell you that we have, I did come in and clarify it with our chief financial officer. I said, what is our gas tax that we impose? He didn't know what I was talking about. But that's the kind of thing we have to put up with. But that's enough said about that. But people are shopping in Dade County. A lot of things are happening. The Airbnb kind of things are happening. That's coming into play now, which is a good thing. It's people coming to the county. If you want, and I will invite people to go over. We talked about this reservoir property, and I'm sure there's people in the county that may at this time still not know where that property is. But if you'll go over and look at it, it's on Creek Road, or Sales Lane. And right where the old dam is, just past that old dam, you will see where Billy and his couple of guys have worked very hard. It's cleaned off. You can actually see the property, you can see the layout of the property. It's some 61 acres or so. Very beautiful property down on the creek. A lot of uses for it. Will it be a reservoir? I'm not going to ever stay here again and say it will, because I don't know what the water company will want to do in the future. But it can be some very valuable property for people to come down and recreate, to use that creek and to utilize the creek. Some 2,000 yards or whatever of footage on the creek to be down there fishing, kayaking, whatever. So I invite people to go down and look at it and see what we're talking about and what it looks like now as opposed to not that long ago. I'll be attending some policy committee meetings if nothing happens this week and going to this coming week, going to Gwinnett County, and that is where some of the things that we deal with here and we're talking about tonight, that's where they go to the state and they go to the federal, and then we have to deal with them here, kind of get a heads up on the policies and the changes that have been mentioned, like the Secretary of State changing the need for more space for the elections. That changes. And we have nothing to do but to roll with that flow. Last thing I want to say, I do want to say to Mr. Hartline, he has done a great job with Stacy and bringing in these tournaments. But tomorrow night as well, our high school football will get underway, kinda, at the high school at 6:30 will be Meet the Wolverines. And this is an inter-squad game where they compete against each other, and you'll see some competition. Then next week will be a preseason game with Lakeview Fort Oglethorpe will come over here. The week following that, we will begin our season with a team out of Athens, Georgia. from Athens Academy. So if you got nothing else to do, want to get out and about tomorrow night, it's hot weather, but them guys have worked hard through this summer, so come over to meet the Wolverines, and just enjoy what we have here in Trenton, Dade County.
Good report. Ms. Bradford?
Yeah, it's probably some of those four fields or complex getting at the general dollar stores and gas stations. And, well, I had not much, but 378 work orders. But I did want to kind of reinforce, people out of the county need to go over the scales. People who have loose garbage that's not in bags need to go over the scales. There's lots of issues with loose garbage going where the garbage goes, and it's just it messes a lot of things up. And we are gonna look at putting some signs over there. There's some signage that we need. And just watch each other on the weekends when it's really busy. It gets really busy on Saturdays, so just watch out for each other. That's all I have.
All right, good report. To start with, on the, for the month, has been really a pressing month for all of us, Don, Rebecca, and all, because I know most of you kept up with us. I mean, we had several meetings and hearings in this room. It seemed like one every week, sometimes two, and we feel good that we've got through this, and we've kept our millage rates the same, which is 8.00. I'm glad that the school board was here tonight, and that kind of puts the final touches on our millage, and we're ready to go into next year. So that's one thing that's kept us all busy this month. But Lamar brought this up, and it's a great thing. The fiber, high-speed internet. It's something that's been talked about for several years. The funding for this, are actually kind of the groundwork started. The regional commission, we formed a board, as every regional commission in the state of Georgia, about 3 years ago. I was on that board. Alan Poole, which was chairman at that time, he was very instrumental in it, in actually going after funds to bring all of rural Georgia, northwest Georgia in, and having high-speed internet offered to whoever needs it or wants it. And today, actually last week when I met, this week when I first met with these people that came in here, I couldn't believe, they came in, and Lamar's got a copy of this. This is phase one of the project. The phone company, out of the money that was handed down, they've got $6 million of that money. They'll be getting it on draws, but they've started phase one and hitting the ground running. These people are, I've checked them out, they're professionals. I mean, that's what they do. Most of it, I think Lamar mentioned this, is going to be underground. There won't be very little of it in the air. There's going to be quite a few bores under our roads. They came into our office here and sat down and talked to me because of the permitting process and all that, which we don't. We'll work with them. There's not really that big a deal in Dade County. We'll work together with those people to make this happen. And I think that I don't know whether the phase two is will actually move on. That's up to the phone company, but everything is starting to click. And so, it's just there's going to be a lot of people out there, they already are, that's going to be really glad to get this and get it with their children, and where they can. We've got a lot of health people, medical people in the county, that nurses, doctors, and they rely on this to work, to be able to communicate between our hospitals and their homes. And some of them I've talked to, what they're doing, they're paying like 4 or 5 times what you or I would even pay for high-speed internet. They're actually bringing it in satellite. And so anyway, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it because this is something we'll be talking about for the next few months, and we'll keep you up to date. We'll have one of those people there at one of our meetings here, maybe the next one or the next one, and they can tell us exactly what, how far they are, what they're along. Also, the phone company, Adam Austin, we'll get him up here maybe every other commission meeting or whatever, and it's pretty interesting to hear him talk and tell exactly what's going on and where they're going from there. So I won't say any more about that. But anyway, it's a good day. It's a good week in the county to have that happen. We met with the DOT today. Billy and I did up on the mountain there at Sand Mountain. Actually, we went to both mountains, and about some water issues up there. We've been talking about that for months, and there's a lot going on with that. And so hopefully, this was kind of a little bit different. The person we met with, but he is over this region, and so we are working on that. The people out there knows what I'm talking about. It's there's only certain, we can't do that much on a city, on a state road, don't have any authority, but we can kind of keep a fire under them and help them, make it happen. So anyway, also to touch base with that, and Melissa, she's been working with us on this with the people out at on the crosswalk there at Brownwood. That's kind of in the makings now. They're working with the state of Georgia on that, about the permitting and getting the drawings and all. There again, that's not something we can touch because it's a state road, but there are people. We try to work and help those people, and fill in the gap between the state and the private sector. But I want you to know I do appreciate my commissioners. They work hard. We have two or three people in the county that evidently don't think so. And if people they don't know what we do, they need to follow us around, day or come visit me. I'll show them. I work. I don't feel care to tell you. Most people that know me, I give it 100%, 150% I have the years I've been in here. There's not a piece of equipment down there I can't operate. I get out here and work and do all I can. So but John, John's John, and that's fine. I mean, he's got his opinion, and thank goodness, the majority of the people in this county, they know what we do, they know what I do. That we wouldn't be elected like we are, So that's just all I'm gonna say about that. But y'all got anything else you want to say?
I would, in all the excitement, I would like to recognize Jennifer Blair. She's got the project down at Jenkins Park, and it's actually underway and paid for now. And
I miss seeing you there. You've been used to coming to every one, and we missed you. The last two you've been here, so you're a familiar face, and we appreciate you coming.
And she does so much for
that
the
people
county
don't know.
and the city. People forget when we say city. The city pays county taxes too. They're Dade Countyans just like we are.
That's right.
So everything you've done has been appreciated. Working on the trail, the Town Creek Trail, and the mural. I mean, I think it's going to be beautiful. And I was glad to see all the businesses that helped you too.
Yeah. When's the finish date on it? What is it?
It's very weather dependent. She keeps getting interrupted by the rain.
Well, yeah. But normally like a month if she had good weather. Is it hard to say? Kind of by fall. Okay. Good. We do appreciate you though. You got anything else you want to add?
No.
We'll move on. Okay. We'll go down to our appearances. Miss Mindy Hayworth, manager of our library. Sorry you've had to wait this long, but come on in.
As always, thanks so much for having me and allowing the library a place at the table to let you know what it is that we do for the community. I wanted to start by, here's our happening in August. These are all of the special programs that we have going on in August. As you can see, it's quite a lot. We've already done the first several on there. I won't go into detail for each and every one. There's a few I wanted to highlight. If we go to our next slide. Story time's back. We stopped our preschool story time during summer reading, but it is back. We started it today. It was awesome. We saw some familiar faces and some new faces. And I always sing the praises of our youth education coordinator, Spencer Pennington. He's doing an amazing job. So story time is back every Thursday at 10:30 a.m. for our preschoolers, getting them ready to read. Another program. This is super cool also that Spencer is starting. It's an ACT test prep workshop. The first ACT test is coming up in September, so he wanted to offer this 6-week test prep workshop that's actually available if you have a library card, which is free. There's a test prep course that's free if you get on the Learning Express library, but he is sort of fielding that and setting that up. So for anybody that's getting ready to take the ACT in September, please come see us at the library. This is going to be every Thursday at 5:30 through September 8th. He's going to offer it again in December because there is another ACT test in December. So he wants to make sure that we have all the opportunities for our high schoolers that are taking the ACT and getting ready to apply to colleges that they can come take this really great test prep course. So that's new. And we had a fantastic showing for, this is one of our adult programming classes. It's a progressive 3-class series on learning how to watercolor. And these were all the participants that came, and they were so excited. They loved it. I'm really happy that we are expanding our adult programming to include some things like this. Summer reading challenge, it's over. It was my first summer reading challenge. I didn't know what to expect. I think it was awesome. Again, all of my kudos goes out to our youth education coordinator who really helped a lot. These are some of our statistics. The main thing that stands out to me is look at those minutes read. 148,158 minutes read over a 7-week period. So that was really exciting. You can see our program attendance for our children's programs, 808 folks came to our 7 weeks of programming. Our teens, again, we had program attendance 38 and number of minutes read, 21,000 minutes read. Also with our adults, we had a lot of adults participating. They were really excited about some of the fun prizes and incentives that we gave away. Down there at the bottom, I know that y'all heard me asking for teen volunteers. We had 16 volunteers come out and help us. We've got one adult volunteer, Miss Cappy. She comes every Tuesday and Thursday and helps. She put in 20 hours over summer reading volunteer time. Our teens put in 173 volunteer hours over summer reading. They were a huge boon to us. They helped us tremendously. So that's our summer reading, and here's a few of our prize winners that won incentives. I just thought I'd put a few pictures up there to show how much we appreciate them coming in and that they enjoyed the prizes that they got. Y'all know that I was really excited about the play card being implemented, and we saw it in action this summer. A lot of grandparents came to the library with their grandkids, and they're like, oh, we don't have a library card. We left it at home. I didn't bring it. And I was like, do they happen to go to a Dade County school? That's all we have to ask. And they'd be like, yeah. Do they know their lunch number? Most of the kids did. They knew their school number, but even if they didn't, we could look them up lickety-split. And it just made things so easy. And so many people, not only grandparents, but sometimes parents that weren't the normal. A lot of dads were bringing kids into the library, and they're like, well, I didn't bring the library card. It was just so easy. So I'm thrilled as we get ready to start this new school year that we've got the play card in action. Hopefully next month or the next month, we'll have some statistics on all of the play card uses as well. Another big exciting thing in the library, we got a new copier or new printer. We were out of commission for about 5 or 6 days, and I can't tell you how much that affected our community. That really brought home how much the community uses the library for computer and printer services, and how, you know, they were devastated sometimes when they were like, the printer's not working. So this has been really great. We're really excited. We're implementing a new program also where we can send the faxes through the printer. So we're on a trial run with that. I have one impact story from today on the printer I just wanted to share with y'all because he was so happy. He literally said, thanks so much. Y'all were so helpful. I never would have been able to get done what I got done today without the resources of the library. I just never realized what a great resource you were right here. And he said, he's a grandparent. He said, I used to bring the kids who are all now in their 30s to the story times. He was like, I just had no idea you had all this too, when we were able to help him on the computer and get some things printed out. So those are always really powerful stories. Another new thing, tables. We got our brand new meeting room tables. I showed a picture where they flip up. They also have casters on them, so we can wheel them around and reconfigure that meeting room space to help whoever's borrowing it. We can also move those tables out into the main library for our programming, and we were able to give all of the old tables to the county. I'm pretty sure Jared picked them all up, and they're heavy and hard to move, but y'all have them now to use. They're great tables. They're just not as easy to move around as these, so we're really excited about our new tables. And I wanted to highlight our hotspots again. I know we're getting a lot of really great internet here, but we launched this program just a few months ago, and it was a little slow to take off, but I have really seen a lot of people coming in and really grateful for these hotspots. In particular, I have one senior citizen, and she said this has been a lifesaver for her. She's on a fixed income. She can't afford the internet. And so she comes and checks out the hotspots at the library. She said she can put it in her purse, she can take it and use it, and it's really been helpful for her. So I just wanted to reiterate, we've got hotspots that you can access the internet. You can check them out for 2 weeks. You get a renewal, and you can come back and get another one. So come see us at the library. We also have Chromebooks that you can check out if you need a computer. Last but not least, I couldn't get this on my slides, but I handed all of y'all one of these. This is our fiscal year 2022 impact report that we compiled that has statistics listed for the fiscal year 2022. And there's just some really great impact stories and numbers. 114 daily visitors. That's just on average, 114 people are visiting the library every day. 209 daily circulations. That means how many people are checking in and checking out books. 112 average program attendees. Those are just some of the big numbers. And on the back, 29 daily internet sessions. And I love this statistic right there at the bottom on the back page, 414 new library users. Those are people that have never had a library card in Georgia before, and they got their first library card. And we see daily people coming in, getting new library cards, and really excited about everything that we have to offer at the library. So thank you so much. I appreciate my time. Does anybody have any questions?
Get your display cases?
Thank you, good job.
What's that?
The display cases, has that been?
Well, we're working on it.
Okay.
It's still, it's as everybody knows in every department, there's a supply chain issue. So when you have to put an order in, just sometimes it's gonna be a minute before you get it, and we experience that. Sometimes we haven't had the run on toilet paper, but I've heard that I might need to reorder some of that too. But so we're working on those display cases, and we're excited to get them and showcase all of our new books that are coming in.
Well, I gotta ask one question.
Okay.
You got that happy over the tables, how happy are you gonna be over that bookcase?
Oh, I can't wait. Let me tell you. I'm so excited because, it's so inviting to walk in and see the new books. And that's what we try to highlight because we are a new book library. So, and I order books every month. Not only do I take into account our patron requests, we have a spreadsheet going when a patron comes in and they ask for a book, we put it on our list. And I go through a pretty lengthy process of figuring out what circulates in our library and some new things to throw out there that maybe people haven't seen before. We do a combination of nonfiction, biographies, memoirs, as well as history, cookbooks, craft books. That's all our nonfiction, and we play that with our fiction and what we're adding and what our readers like to read and what maybe they don't know they like to read yet. Putting all those new books on display, that's the beeline. Everybody goes for the new books, so I'm super excited that we'll be able to make them look even prettier and more enticing.
Thanks a
Thank
lot,
you so
good
much.
report.
Thank you.
All right, Miss Sarah Dyer and Laura Beth Cunningham. I wouldn't want to leave her out. It's slow.
Tag team.
Well, we have had a very, very busy summer. We finally got through all of our summer programs, and we'll highlight them, but we stayed really busy in our office this summer. One of the field trips we did this last month was go to the UGA Cahutta Fisheries. It was very educational for me too. I had no idea what they do. One of the main things that they do there is they raise sturgeon and they harvest them for caviar.
They do there?
Yeah,
They actually
yeah,
do,
it's a very big resource for caviar in the United States. So that was really interesting. There's one guy that runs the whole place, and he seems so excited to see people. So, like he lives on the property, he's there 24/7, and he's excited to have people come. He got a sturgeon out, and everybody was petting it, and it was.
Did they demonstrate? They weren't harvesting anyone.
No, they didn't harvest.
I've seen that. It's different. It's something.
I'm not sure the kids would have.
No, it wouldn't be. It wouldn't be.
Okay with that process.
I didn't know how to, till that day, I thought, whoa, yeah.
Yes, but it was
They
very
get it-
interesting.
they
They
get it
have
all.
lots of other fish there. They had paddlefish, which they inherited from the aquarium, and so it was really interesting to see them running around. But it was a really interesting trip and educational for all of us. my July homeschoolers meeting, I brought my tortoise Remy down and we did a whole lesson on the differences between tortoises and turtles. Another 4-H'er brought their little red-eared slider down. We had a turtle race. Everybody fed Remy and had a really good time. And now all of these little kids would like to have a tortoise that lives over 100 years, so I'm sure the parents were very excited about that. But Remy had a great time. She ate every piece of lettuce that was given to her and was really happy. We had craft night. We had to change it to Thursday because it was going to interfere with a lamb and goat show. But my usual kids showed up and we made these cute little wind chimes. I got myself over my head a little bit on that one. I had to get Scott help me put the tiniest eye hooks that you can barely hold in your hand in all these tree branches. So I have to be more cautious about that because I probably spent, 10 hours trying to prep for that one. But they liked it, and a lot of these kids are also in our chicken project, and they went and hung those little wind chimes in their chicken coops. So it was kind of a dual purpose type thing, but it was fun. Our next craft night is going to be on the 19th of this month, and we are going to make watercolor pictures with water guns. So that one shouldn't be much prep time for me, but they'll like that. Another field trip we took is we went to the Telus Science Museum. We partnered with Carroll County 4-H to get the group rate. But the kids really enjoyed this. The educational part of the program, they talked about the different color sands on beaches. So they talked about the black sand beach in Hawaii, and there's some other beaches that have purple sand or green sand, and they talked about why that happened. And we took tours of the museum, and the kids had a good time. We ate lunch there, and then we came home. We did another hike. We went to the Glen Falls that's up on Lookout Mountain. If nobody's ever done that hike, it's really great. It's really easy. The turnoff is kind of sketchy because you can drive right past it, but that is a great hike for really young kids or older people. You can hike up and they just have all these waterfalls going down. It probably would have been better if we'd, gone after the big rains, but it was still a really good hiking trip.
Was that's on private property, right? It on private?
This one isn't. Stevens Gap is on private property.
That
This
one's
one's
not.
not.
Yeah.
If you're just heading up towards Rock City from St. Elmo,
Yeah.
it's just on that route
Right there, okay. Yeah.
And then we went to Rock City and had lunch, and it was a good time too. We had our second and final Chick to Chicken Project Day Camp. Sarah and I always partner and do that one together. I took my part of the presentations. I talked about the pecking order. That was a real thing because this is my first year with chickens, and I really watch my chickens. I'm obsessed with them, I'm not gonna lie. But they're fighting and they're trying to figure out who's gonna be the top hen, so we talked about that. And we also talked about a lot of the common predators and how to have a safe coop and keep all of them safe. And then I'll let Sarah talk about her portions of it.
Yeah, and then we also talked about the commercial industry and having a look inside the commercial industry and poultry. We talked about the importance of the poultry industry here, even in Dade County. Had some really cool videos that the kids got to see an inside look into different chicken houses and the processing chain. So it was a really neat day. We talked about biosecurity. Who has heard about avian influenza in the last few months? That has been a higher risk recently the last few months. So we talked about what that means and how that actually is something we should take precautions for in our backyard flocks or in the children's Chick to Chicken project. They need to be aware of the signs and symptoms of avian influenza as well. So we talked about what those things were, and we had a really good day. We've had a great turnout for that program this summer. The Livestock show team was in full swing in July. We traveled to a couple of shows across the state, one far away and one near. You can see here we've got a growing team with lots of young ones really excited in this program. We've had some really good success. Callie and Ella Hughes at the Calhoun show took home quite a bit of titles, some buckles and some banners, and they're always excited to take that stuff home to hang it up in their room. On the A&R and adult programming side, we did have our monthly Greater Gardener meeting. This is a great program that we kicked off back in April. It's a monthly meeting. We have 56 community members registered in that program. I think that's record-breaking in Dade. I'll have to double-check on our history for our extension office, but we have a really good turnout. We talked about fall vegetable gardening in July. Most folks aren't thinking about fall at that time. They're wrapping up their harvest and doing a lot of work with canning to preserve any of their summer harvest, but it's also time to prepare your gardens for fall. So we talked about that, but the upcoming program for any registrant watching this Tuesday, August 23rd at 6 p.m., we'll have my colleague in Cherokee County, who is a fruit specialist, come up and talk about planting the fruit orchard. So we'll have a couple of months more focused on fruit gardening. It's not on the screen, but we do have some final details for the Tri-State Beekeepers Association meeting. So the speaker for that program upcoming will be Derek Forrester. He'll talk about winterization as well as some hive treatments. And then the following night, this will actually be at the Dade County Ag Center. If you're looking at this, we have made a few changes in the last week, but this will be at the Dade County Ag Center. The program will be about Farm Bureau and how Farm Bureau advocates for agriculture, not just the insurance side of Farm Bureau. We'll have a few past state board members of Farm Bureau there for that presentation. So we invite you to come join us. Again, as always, if you want the meal, please RSVP by the Friday before. Any questions?
Yeah. Good report. We appreciate y'all.
Thank you.
You make a difference, I tell you. You definitely do. Yeah. All right, Mr. George Williams, Alliance for Dade, Chamber of Commerce. He is the chairman of the board.
Yeah, this is a tough group to follow.
I tell you, that's why we put you where you're at.
Maybe you ought to reverse the. I'd just like to start off and say this commission has been wonderful to the Alliance for Dade. And each one of you, I think I may have called you various times, and if so, you answer me pretty quickly. Maybe not at the time, you don't pick up the phone, but within that day you call me. So it's greatly appreciated what you commissioners do for our county and for the Alliance for Dade. We do have 102 members. It's grown a little bit since last month when I was with you, and we've added Dyer Livestock Beef, Chad McDill, and Joshua and Andrea Kane as investors to the Alliance for Dade. We're currently getting bids to put up new signs. Most of our signs we bought inferior grade signs and they're gone. So we are, we're working with Alex Case on some signs, and I'm working with the Georgia prison system it has a sign program too. So we're gonna get our signs back up. As you know, Titus Cartwright, who was with us for a couple of years, has moved on, and we're actively pursuing two positions, a president and a CEO, and a director of tourism. These will be full-time jobs, and if you need more information, go to the AllianceForDade.com website or go to careers@Alliance4Dade for more information, or call the Welcome Center. Next is our upcoming Plum Nelly Arts and Crafts Plum Nelly Depot. That's a hard one to put on there. Plum Nelly Depot Art Show. Actually, it's going to be great. We have 23 artists signed up for this event. We're going to fill up the community center here in Trenton on that Saturday. So we're inviting all the community to come and see that. It's our first ever, and with the success we've had with the artists sign up, it looks like we're going to be doing that on a regular basis. We've scheduled for September 24th, Dade Works Job Fair. It's going to be held at the high school. Last year we did one in the fall. We had about 35 companies, and we had almost 100 potential employees come in through the door. So we're going to be working hard on that. And by the way, I'll go back to Plum Nelly for a minute. It is sold out as far as the number of artists. So we can't take any more artists, but we certainly need participants to come and see that art and see the great work that these people have done. The Dade Expo is scheduled for the Saturday after Thanksgiving. and registrations being taken at right now. We have a good start. I think we're over 20, and we're looking for somewhere over 100 to be there. So, and we're only in August. You know, it's hard to have people think about Christmas quite yet. And then last is our Welcome Center numbers. We had 66 visitors to the Welcome Center last month, handled a number of calls, and I'm thinking that when we get our signs back up, it'll be even easier to find us than now, but I'm pretty pleased with 66. So, any questions for me? Philip, by the way, if we can help with promoting the ball tournaments that you have going on, let us know, would you please?
I will.
Because we can help out with some advertising expense there.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Appreciate you, George. Do a
Sure
good
thing.
job.
Thank you.
All of you. Appreciate it. Miss Audrey Clark, Historic Preservation Commission, Dade County Historical Society. Audrey, you still here?
No.
You had to leave? Okay.
Not amongst us.
All right. All right. Let's move down to number 5A. Mr. Don Townsend, if you would go over our financial report for us, please.
Okay, as of July 31st, 2022, we had a balance in the general fund of $514,371. Federal Asset Fund Department, U.S. Department of Justice, U.S. Treasury is zero. Sheriff's Special Fund, $8,938. Drug Abuse Education Fund, $18,489. Supplemental Juvenile Services Fund, $27,993. Victim Assistance Fund, $6. Jail Fund, $1,924. Federal Asset Fund Department of Justice is zero. American Rescue Plan, $2,446,786. Accommodations, hotel, motel tax, $174,313. An employee flexible spending account, $9,083, and payroll account, $95,033. 2015 SPLOST, we still have remaining $208,278. And the 2021 project account, a SPLOST project account, we have $13,832, and proceeds account, $976,574. In the general fund, for the income statement for ending June 30, which will be for the full 12-month cycle, the actual amount for revenues were collected at $962,506. We'd budgeted $1,734,028, so we were under estimates there by $771,522. Year to date, though, for the full 12-month cycle, we collected $13,593,590, budgeted $13,144,000. Therefore, we were in excess revenues of $449,590. Most of that, just so you know, was the revenue from the sale of the property on Back Valley, and that was just unexpected. So we'll be doing a budget amendment in October to accommodate these, and we still may receive a little bit of income for the next 30 days or so. And expenses, same situation, June 30, we have spent $1,040,014. We budgeted $1,327,359, so we were under budget. $287,344 for the year. $12,824,617, budgeted $13,144,000. So we were under budget $319,382. So year-to-date budget attained would be at 100%. Revenues attained were at 103.42%, and expenses attained so far at 97.57%. And just so you know, we still have the remainder of August for the books to be open in 2022's budget. So, you know, we've got most things paid for, but there could be a few things out there lingering. And then by August 31st, we should be able to close out the year clean with our complete 60-day lag time. Local option sales tax revenue for the month of July was $264,070.16. And as stated, the SPLOST did come in at $330,086.81. And you see the next two reports here, 2021 and 2015 SPLOST reports with the detail behind those. And then we have collected so far, again with a 12-month cycle, sorry, for the tax commissioner's report, $5,077,409.54, and we had budgeted $5,197,500, so that's at 97.69%. So we still have about 120,000 out there. I think one of the questions that came up at one of the public hearings is what happens if you don't pay your taxes? Well, we don't do anything, but the tax commissioner under the state of Georgia's laws has the right to, take action, and not that we want to see that happen, but anyway. So right now there's still 120,000 left out there, and typically what will happen is over the next 5 years, that will come in with interest and penalties, so it'll actually be over 100%. That concludes the report.
Any questions, corrections, or comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our financial report as presented by Mr. Don Townsend. I have a motion to approve.
Motion to approve is read.
Okay, Mr. Goff, I have a second.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Hartline, thank you. I'm gonna call a vote. Mr. Lowry.
Yes.
Mr. Hartline.
Yes.
Goff.
Yes.
Ms. Bradford.
Yes.
And Chair votes yes. Okay, motion carries. Okay. As far as legal matters go, Robin, y'all may have heard me tonight, he does have COVID. He called me yesterday, and he sounded rough today. He talked to Don and I, and it's, he's just, he's going to be out probably for at least 5 days or so. So we don't have any legal matters anyway, according to what he explained to me. Unfinished business, new business. On the consent agenda, I don't know where our water's at tonight. We got everybody out, either sick or whatever. We failed to get water up here tonight. But the reading of the minutes of last month's regular meeting and any special call meeting will not be required since all commissioners have been furnished copies in advance. Minutes are public record and available for view in our county commission office. Minutes are also included in our consent agenda. And at this time, I'll ask Mr. Townsend to go over our consent agenda, and we'll entertain a motion pertaining to that. So.
All right, we have the approval of the agenda as presented, approval of previous meeting minutes, review of the personnel status report, the appointment under Resolution R-49-22, a recommendation to appoint a member to the Industrial Development Authority, and the appointment of Mr. Seth Houts for the unexpired term expiring 12/31/2024, proclamation for Purple Heart Day, August 7th, 2022, a SPLOST purchase for new home fire department for new fire hoses for the company of MES for $6,044. And then we have Resolution R-50-22, which is a support of the new CHI Memorial Hospital in Northwest Georgia.
Okay. Any questions or corrections pertaining to that? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve our consent agenda as presented. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bradford. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, Mr. Lowry. Have a motion and a second. I'll call the vote. Mr. Lowry?
Yes.
Mr. Hartline?
Yes.
Mr. Goff?
Yes.
Mr. Bradford?
Yes.
And Chair votes yes. Thank you very much for that. All right.
Mayor's coming up to speak.
Do what now?
As your employee coming up to speak, I want to really remind everybody that tomorrow's our first day of school. Our buses start moving into Head River at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And going on. McDonald's and Hardee's is going to be busy, along with our SLTC. So remember our little ones, take you extra time, look forward. Today we done a big event with the Dade County Sheriff's Office, Trenton Police Department, Dade County 911, Emergency Management, Memorial EMS. We had Walker County Fire Chiefs and EMA 911 here, Catoosa County Fire Chiefs, 911 EMA, and Todd Gann from Trenton Lookout Mountain Police Department. We done a intruder drill at the school. And we're very, very proud that in the last 10 years, we've had a really great system with the funds that the schools use, the Vigilon camera systems, the Silocks that lets these rooms know who's clear. Now the teachers carry a tag that they can push and alert their front office of what's going on. The Sheriff's Office and PD went in. We had Casey York, one of the Drug Task Force deputy commander here out of the Dade County, was the intruder. And you know, we done it because this past summer it got real close to home to us in Geraldine in a summer school. And it's just right after Texas and some things. And kudos to the Sheriff's Office. These men and women are going in to stop the threat if it happens to our children. When school's back in, that's our largest threat for the day that I worry about. And the larger one is sitting right here behind us every day. Our volunteer fire departments were involved. We've got some work to do on the policies and the procedures and protocols. I think in this scenario, we had 4 wounded, 2 walking and 1 critical, just a scenario to get us thinking. Had a lot of good comment from the school board. Ms. Carolyn Bradford, chairwoman, was there. Daniel Case, board member. And we spent a lot of time today, and we're going to debrief. They done a short debrief in here today with the Sheriff's Office, and we're going to work more with administration because it can happen in just a second. And speaking with the other 2 counties, Walker County's got 20 buildings of schools that they have to deal with, where we've got 4 buildings of schools, and even the Board of Education is a threat, possibly. So are 5 buildings. And I forgot what Catoosa had, but they're also implementing the access control that we also work with them heavily with the Vigilon camera system. They put that in after we installed it to the courts facility and upgraded the jails when Mr. Tobin was the superintendent at board. And we stay one-to-one to that because coming soon, there's going to be 16 access controls to the high school that our officers and PD, when they walk in, they take that same fob to get into the jail and to their offices and to these rooms. They can get right in that school. So we've got a lot of good things that happen. So thank you, our folks there and their lives, what we're doing, and ensure the public that if this happens, Dade County is going to be ready, and we're working to be sharper and quicker with it as well. But watch out for our children. Take some extra time, and don't get mad at McDonald's or Hardee's in the morning. It's going to be a little longer tomorrow.
Thank you, Alex. We appreciate the job you do too. I really do. Y'all got anything you want to add to that? You know, I just hate we've taken so long, but you know, it needed to happen now. We needed to have this little discussion we had. I think everybody agrees with that, and you know, it is what it is. And I think I feel like the rest of you. I appreciate this county. I enjoy living here, and I'm gonna die here and be buried here. You know,
Me too.
And you know, and so. You know, people have their opinions, and they go and come, and they have their opinions of me and the rest of us, and that's just the way it is. But I appreciate everyone that supports me, and I appreciate the ones that don't really. You know, I pray for Mr. John Huffman, you know, and it's what it is. And so, but anyway, if that's all, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
All right, I have a second.
Second.
All right, we're gonna sing like a choir. I'm gonna do this official now. We're gonna adjourn. I call a vote, Mr. Lowry.
Yes.
Tartline.
Yes.
Goff.
Yes.
Ms. Bradford and Chair votes yes, and I appreciate everyone being here tonight. Thank you.